Alex Smith is headed to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs needed a quarterback badly. They had the fourth worst team total QBR in the league last year at 31.9 on a scale of 100. A league source telling ESPN's Ed Werder the Chiefs made a significant investment in acquiring Smith. Terms of the deal not yet known. At this point, Smith will play under terms of his remaining contract, which calls for a guaranteed base salary of $8.5 million. No discussions between the Chiefs and Smith's reps about negotiating a new contract. But here, take a look. Alex Smith, Kansas City gets a quarterback who ranks 7th in the NFL total QBR in 2012 with a rating above 70. Matt Castle, Brady Quinn, who's an unrestricted free agent, and Ricky Stanzi were the quarterbacks in Kansas City last year, accounting for 27 of the team's 34 turnovers.
Lots of turnovers. Could not score points. Only 13 points a game. Not very good in the red zone or on third down. So a lot of things went wrong for this offense, and that's where they struggled. Their defense was pretty good early, but really couldn't withstand the problem of the offense turning the ball over, giving the opponent good field position, putting them in a bad way, and then their defense wore down at the end. Remember, this team was 5th in the National Football League running the ball. They have a good running attack. And now what they've got to do, they've got a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over. Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over, and that's one thing he can do. He can play within the framework of the offense. Andy will build the offense around his skill, and they've got some weapons on offense now.
Yeah, I mean, minus 24 in the turnover ratio that you're talking about, last in the league. But you got to understand where Alex Smith has been and now where he's going, okay? Right. He's going from a Super Bowl runner-up to a team that had struggled to move the ball at times last season. Looked like at times they didn't want to play at all. So in comes a new regime, in comes Andy Reid, in comes a new head coach. So can Alex Smith do more with less? Because that offensive line, I'm telling you right now, is not as good as the San Francisco 49er offensive line. He is now going to have more on his shoulders. He's not going to have that same, yes, they have players on defense, Coach, they do. But that's not the San Francisco 49er defense, so it's a different team he's going to. He may be expected to do more in terms of the passing game, to put more on his shoulders. Can he handle that?
Well, and that's where Andy Reid has to come in, because it's KYP, know your personnel. And yes, Andy has to realize, you know what, this is Alex Smith, and you make a great point, but understand this. Alex Smith, earlier in his career, he was on teams similar to this. So he's been on teams that have struggled. So that's his maturity, and that's what he's going to bring to the table. By the way, he came in there one time as a starting quarterback, and he got shut out, Alex Smith, against those Chiefs. So he gets that part, but he's going to bring, guess what? He's going to bring a winning formula with him. He knows how to play quarterback now in the system. Andy Reid's a smart football coach. He's going to find a way to make sure that this guy has some success.
How does he compare to the quarterbacks Reid's had in the past?
Well, I think he's this. He's very accurate. He has a skill set of getting the ball out of his hand. He understands the dynamics of how to run a system. I mean, he's a good system quarterback. Andy will find a system where this guy can flourish. It's going to be a West Coast offense. Now, what's going good for him, which was going good for him in San Francisco when Alex Smith was playing, remember, the 49ers, regardless of what anybody says, Coach Harbaugh's a run coach. The 49ers run the football. Even today, they run the football. So the Kansas City Chiefs can run it. They've got some weapons. Moyaki, they got Dwayne Bowe. They got to get him re-signed. They got Jamal Charles. So they have a few weapons that he has to his disposal. Dwayne Bowe's a pretty good football player now. I mean, he's a pretty good wide receiver. When the tight end's healthy, he can play. And he will create formations. McCluster is similar to a guy he wants to get in space. So he's got some guys.
It's almost like when Alex Smith was in San Francisco, he was a complimentary player, okay, because he has other aspects of his team that were so strong, okay? He could count on those type of things. You can't be that type of complimentary player anymore. He is going to have to be the leader. He is going to have production. I think that's going to be different for him. I mean, from the last couple years with being in that type of team, with such strong units along that 49er team to a Kansas City Chiefs team that he has to help them become a competitor in that division now.
And Alex Smith, he was down. We saw Harbaugh want to go after Peyton Manning. Then he said, no, Smith, you're my guy. I'm sticking with you. Then Colin Kaepernick comes in. Yeah. And now he's coming to Kansas City and being told, you're our guy. We went after you, and we invested heavily in you.
It's almost like he's been the disrespected guy for so long, ever since
Does he
was
know
that
how to
first
be
pick.
the respected guy and the respected leader?
I think it's going to feel good to him, okay? He's going to a team now he knows, okay? I don't know what a significant investment is, but obviously they wanted him bad enough to make this trade pre-draft, free agency, to say now, like you're saying, Chris, it's a great point. You're our guy now, Alex Smith. No doubts whatsoever. We're going to give up all this. Now take us to the promised land.
And they're going to have to give something to get Alex Smith. So all this is part of the equation when you think about Alex Smith. He's sitting in a position now where he was the good soldier. He was a good soldier. That Super Bowl weekend, he couldn't have handled it any way better. Yeah. And you were hoping that they were going to let him go. And at times when the season was over with the Super Bowl, they said, well, we might keep him. That wouldn't have been the right thing to do for Alex Smith. Now, you have to do what you got to do as a football team, but they found a way now to make a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to get something. We don't know what they've gotten yet as far as a pick. And the 49ers have a lot of draft picks. But now Alex Smith is the guy. The city of Kansas City right now, I'm telling you, they're having a parade. They're excited right now. They said, we got a quarterback in Alex Smith.
I mean, also the players in the locker room.
Yes.
To almost give a boost to, like, our organization, our new regime is doing something about it, all right? They're just not going to stand pat and try to make the most of what we have. They're going to try to go out there and make moves to make this team better. So it puts it almost more on players now. They're doing their job. Now we got to do ours and get ready to play in the season.
And they went and got themselves a guy that has played quarterback. They had the first pick. They had an opportunity maybe to draft the quarterback high in the first round. They chose not to. They said, you know what? The guys we're looking at in the draft right now, we want a guy that can win for us right now. We're trying to win now. So we're not trying to build anything.
And now you got your quarterback. So what kind of flexibility do you have with that first pick? Can you better your organization and the future of your team even more by parlaying that first round pick to something else? If you throw some, I don't know, you throw some smoke screens out there or something, like get teams wanting to come up to get someone that they want, you can benefit your draft status.